a bug landed on her yesterday. She screamed and she laughed. That is big. I'm telling you, see, something like that, because she laughed after I swatted off her shoulder and stuff. Usually, when we first started, she would have ran inside the RV, closed the door, and that would have been the end of the day.
Take me in your arms, do just what you want. You're the one I trust. I belong to you, and I'll always be around.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to another adventure with Peggy
and the Don.
Today is our 100th day RV. I wish we had streamers. I wish we had little blow where you could blow in the little thingies and something to pop out, or just something. All the pomp and circumstance. But anyway, this is day 100.
Yeah.
And for my family members out there who did not think I was going to survive,
for those of y'all who had 3 months in the Peggy pool, you lost.
You lost. My daughter lost a long time ago. She was like, "I'll give my mom 2 weeks."
Yeah.
She lost. No, I'm just kidding though. So to commemorate the 100th day, we're going to take a look back at some things that we've experienced.
The lessons learned.
Some do's and don'ts. Some loves and not so much likes, because we won't say hate.
There you go.
But we're just going to tell you about these 100 days, how they've been to us. Other people might not have these problems, but as newbies, this is what we experienced, and this is what we've learned. Because as you guys know, we jumped in full force.
Yeah.
Not a lot of knowledge. We did a few things to get prepared.
Yeah.
But we weren't 100% prepared. But as we talk to other RV'ers, they say they still are not 100% there.
Exactly.
Because things come up still to this day that they have to deal with. So that makes you feel a little bit better.
We get asked that a lot on a lot of the comments about, like, what's it like? What kind of experiences have you had? What kind of lessons have you learned? Can you share that with us and stuff like that? It's only been 100 days. We're not pretending to be like super experts or anything like that. But
this is to answer some of you guys' questions, like, what is it like? What was the best? What was the worst? What would you do different? You know, stuff like that. So that's what this video is about today. We won't keep you long, but Donald has written some things down, and we're just gonna touch touch base. This is not everything, but this is just things that we can remember off top. So with that being said, my honey bunny is finna bring the noise. Okay.
Neither one of us has ever gone RVing before, except for that weekend we rented an RV.
Yes.
We bought this truck, bought the RV, and then we hit the road. So the first thing I want to bring up to people who are looking into getting into this, because, you know, we're full-time, not all RV parks have full hookups. And that's something that you really need to get an understanding of before you get there. What services does it offer? We're not just talking about like cable or internet or something like that, but like, does it have 30 amp? Does it have 50 amp? Does it have sewer and stuff? So our very first problem, we went to Scott Air Force Base. Scott Air Force Base, the spots we got were not full hookup, which means they had no sewer lines. So this is a supply issue. So when you get to an RV park like that, you gotta have what they call it. I'm calling them mobile tanks. I don't know what to call them, but we had to have that, and we had to make use of the dump site and stuff like that.
Yeah. So most places, if they don't have full hookups, they do offer a dump site, and so. Yeah, you need that mobile unless you want to drive your RV over and dump, because you're going to have to dump. Yeah.
Like Peggy said, familiarity is going to be a big part of a lot of these issues. You got to be familiar with the spaces you're going to and familiar with your RV, what it can and cannot do.
Yes.
Second thing I want to bring up is, before you get out there, make sure you know how to fill and swap out your propane tanks. We got to Fort Campbell, and our propane tanks died in the middle of the night on a cold night. And I should have been, you know, I'm in charge of everything outside the RV. So I should have been noticing when it was getting low and stuff like that. So we ended up having a nice freezing cold night. We just had to huddle up a little bit, but then we went out and got the propane tank filled.
I went in with the thought that, okay, it's like a home. everybody kept saying it. It's like a home. So I didn't think about the propane. I really didn't. I'm just like, okay, I was cooking a lot, washing dishes a lot. You know, we taking baths 2 times a day. We're running the heat. And so we were unnecessarily using propane when we could have done other things. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta, you know, like, we didn't turn on this fireplace. This fireplace works really, really well.
Exactly. It's an electric fireplace.
And it doesn't take any propane.
We should have been using that more.
And then we got a heater for the place. Like, the bedroom doesn't get as hot as in here, but if you take that heater in the bedroom, it heats up that whole area. So now you're not using so much propane. So, you know, like I say, get familiar with what you have. And that's one thing we didn't. And like I said, we jumped in, we didn't know, but now we know. So now our propane tanks are lasting us quite a bit, you know, longer than before. And I would suggest that you get the Blue Rhino.
I was gonna say that.
Because Blue Rhino, like, when we first started out, when we refilled those tanks, we had to get in line and wait for somebody to come over and actually fill them, and the line was long. You just swap it out. You leave your empty tank, grab a full tank, $17 most places, in and out real quick. So
instead of filling them, we just swap it out for 17 bucks. Drop our empty one off, pick up a new one, pay out 17 bucks, and we're done. And so far, every military base we've been to has had a Blue Rhino or American Gas swap out station.
And most Walmarts have them too.
And most Walmarts have them too. The next issue one is a little bit embarrassing. We had what we thought was a severely clogged kitchen sink. Peggy said, Donald, call somebody. The water is not going down. So I went out there and I emptied the tank, the black tank and the gray tank. Water still not going down. I went to a tool place. I took out the little pipes that's under the sink. I didn't see a clog in there. I bought a snake. I ran the little pipe snake all the way through. Everything. And it was just like, I was just so frustrated. I did not want to call somebody. I knew it had to be something simple. And so we called our dealer, and they said, just go ahead and bring it back in. And we drove it all the way back to where we bought the RV. And there's another tank.
But they didn't know there was another tank.
We did not. I thought it was, they told us there was a single tank that does the black and the black and gray water. Black water goes to your toilet. Gray water is for your shower and your sink. They say there's a single port that comes out, and you use that single port to dump. But in this RV, there's another gray tank on this side that need to be emptied.
Because Donald kept saying, I know there's another tank. And we kept looking around. And so one of the service guys was like, hold on a minute. And so he walked around and he was like, oh, there's another tank.
When the slide is out, it completely obscures that other tank. So our slide was out the whole time, and there's no way to just walk around and see it unless you get down real low.
But they told us we had one tank. Yeah, they told us we had one. Even when we called in, they were like, did you drain the tank? We was like, yes, sir, we drained the tank. And he was like, because we were asking our neighbors, and they was like, did you drain the tank? And we were like, we drained it. Nobody, but anyway, we found out that we had a second tank.
My bad.
Hey, it wasn't your fault because when we did our walkthrough, they didn't tell us about the second tank. So, I mean, we were taking notes. We were trying to be as, you know, I don't know if I want to say progressive, but we were just trying to be on top of it. Like, we were physically taking notes.
Yeah, we were trying to be as proactive as possible.
That's what I was trying to say. Proactive as possible. So when they were talking to us, we were writing stuff down.
I downloaded the manual for the RV, and I went through the whole, I just did not want to call somebody out. And I'd have been so mad if I'd have called somebody out at $100 an hour for them to come by and pull a plunger for the other tank. But
anyway, they drained it. Problem solved. Hallelujah.
There you go. So be familiar with your RV and the equipment that it comes with. Our first repair issue was the rear stabilizer. It actually stopped working. We have an electronic motorized stabilizer for the front and back of the RV. Stabilizer wasn't working. Fortunately, they did cover that when I walk around. There's a manual stick that you can use to crank the stabilizer up and down. But when you got an RV that's only a month old at the time, that's kind of scary. It was very frustrating. It was very worrisome for us. We looked out on that one. We met somebody down there in Mayport in Jacksonville, Raymond and Mimi. Raymond got up under there, saw a loose wire, tightened the boat back up on the wire.
Amazing.
And and then it just started working. So I should have been able to see that. Like I say, I'm trying to learn as much as I can as we go along. I wish I had climbed the day and saw the loose wire, but I didn't. But I would do it next time if it ever happened again. Then we had an actual DIY repair. We had a clogged toilet. The issue with that one was we found some 2-ply paper that called itself RV toilet paper, and our toilet did not like it at all. Now,
we got it at an RV store.
Yes.
We didn't get it from a regular store. We got it at an RV store.
Yeah. And it said 2-ply and salt. We were like, yes, finally some good toilet paper we can use in our RV. Yeah. A couple days later, toilet's not flushing anymore. But that was a simple fix. All we need, we used the plunger. We was able to plunge it out. It came right back. We plunged it again, and we just threw away the rest of that 2-ply toilet paper. It
was not. It didn't dissolve like it should have.
The next issue we had was we were leaving Mayport, our favorite RV park
in the world.
Mayport in Jacksonville, Florida. We just had a great 6 days there. Hooked everything up, smiling. Everything is getting better, y'all. Put the truck in drive, and the RV's wheels were not turning. I mean, completely locked up. That means brakes, right? I made sure that I squeezed the automatic brake assist on the inside. It wasn't showing any gain or output at all. I checked the connections. I went on YouTube. Now, we're supposed to be out by 12. It's already like 11 o'clock.
So, you know, I was panicking.
Yeah, we're supposed to be out of the spot by 12. I asked some people if they've ever been through this, and they was like, maybe your brakes locked up or whatever else it was. Nothing. I was crawling up on this RV, hitting it with a hammer, hitting each of the brake pads with a hammer, trying to loosen them up. Turns out that when we hooked up, the trailer lurched forward. And there's an emergency system that if the trailer starts rolling forward on its own, an emergency brake engages, emergency parking brake engages on the trailer itself. It's a little pin that pops out of a little control box. One of the maintenance workers there at the RV park, Mayport, the best RV park in the world, came out. He said, I bet you I know what it is. He walked right up to it, pushed the pin back in, and that was it. I mean, I disconnected. You should have seen all the stuff I tried.
Yeah.
And that's just so frustrating.
It was getting so close to 12. I'm like, Donald, just call a tow truck at this point. Because I'm like, we got to get out of here. I don't want to cause trouble for people, you know?
Yeah.
But the guy came right over. He was like, yeah, because if you had called somebody, they would have charged you $150 to come out and pull this pin.
Pull a pin.
Yeah. So I was like, now that we know, we could share it with other people.
Exactly, because I went on all these little chat rooms and everything about wheels locking up, and everybody was like, hit the brake pad, hit this, hit. Nobody mentioned the emergency brake pin out of the control box in the front of the trailer.
Yeah.
So, hey, you guys, y'all getting that. So we have a travel trailer, so this not applied to a fifth wheel. I'm pretty sure they have something like that on a fifth wheel, but we're talking about travel trailers. One of the most important pieces of equipment on your trailer is the 7-way cable. It hooks to your truck. It hooks the trailer to your truck. It controls the turn signal. So if people behind you want to be able to see the turn signals or your brake lights, you got to have that cable there. It controls the brakes of the RV, so I can hit the brakes in my truck and actually activate the brakes that's on the trailer. You do not want to try to use your truck to stop your truck and your trailer. You need that brake assistance. And when you're hooking up, that cable can get in the way. It kind of dangles and it's kind of long. And I messed up. I placed the cable between our weight distribution system, and we made a couple turns, kind of jackknife a little bit, and it just cut right through. I wouldn't say all the way through, but it basically cut through most of the important connections. And this was another one. We was leaving Fort Gordon.
Yes.
We was leaving Fort Gordon, getting ready to head down to Uchi Creek, and it's always a moving day. Moving days are when this kind of stuff seems to happen.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to fix the cable. I didn't have a spare cable, of course. There was a Ganders outdoor within like 10 miles. I had to drive like about 15 miles.
Yeah.
I had to drive like 15 miles with just trailer and weight distribution system, no lights, no trailer brakes. We got it over there. It only cost $30 for the equipment, but they charge $139 an hour to install stuff, and they always start with at least 1 hour. This little issue cost us $183. But hey, and about 3 hours of time.
Yeah, but hey, now it's fixed. Lesson learned. It was a costly lesson, but now we know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we're learning as we go, so we try not to make the same mistake twice. But that was the first paid lesson.
Yeah. So
we're learning as we go. Now we could start talking about what we enjoy about RVing.
Mm-hmm. Now we can talk about some of the things we've liked and enjoyed and experienced in that first 100 days.
Yes.
We've seen some beautiful places. We've done a lot of activities, ate at beautiful places, learned a lot and stuff like that. What was your favorite place that we visited so far?
Well, you know it's going to be Mayport.
Well, that's my favorite RV park, but was that your favorite place too?
Yes.
It was good.
Yeah, because, well, okay, Destin ran a close second.
Yeah. I like Destin because there was so much activities out there.
Yeah, Destin, as far as like away from the RV, things to do, stuff like that. Destin was the spot. To me, I liked Destin, but I love Mayport. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could stay at Mayport forever.
Well, Mayport's always going to have a special place for me because me being a 50-year-old man who had never been fishing a day in his life, Mayport is where I caught my first fish. I want to make sure I thank Randy the Macho Man who helped me out. He gave me some bait. I bought a fishing pole, but didn't know how to do any of the stuff. There's a lot more to fishing than it looks like. Y'all watch TV, there's way more to fishing than that. But
yeah, that was fun. Like, we visited a lot of places. Like, to me, I would have liked to go more. Like, we stayed the first time at Uchi Creek. I'm just at the point now where if we stay at a place for a week, I'm ready to hit the next place.
Exactly.
I'm ready to go to the next place because it is so much to see and it's so much to do. And I feel like when you're new, like when you go, you get to experience it all firsthand. And so you're going to make your mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Like, I get very frustrated and I quit every other day. I quit every other day.
I'm so glad you said that. Peggy has quit about 75 times in the past 100.
But I love it. Like, I got a love-hate relationship with it.
Yes.
Because when we go to a park that allows me to glamp, because that's what I got into it for, to glamp. That's why we're in an RV.
And not a tent.
And not a tent, because I wanted to glamp. That's the dream I was sold, to glamp, right? And sometimes we get to places and I'm just like, but you try to make the best of it. And I know it might not come off as I'm enjoying myself, but I really am. Like, I can see myself doing this long term, honestly. Like, but you just don't know what you're going to get at each place. Yeah. Because each place has its own personality, its own whatever it offers you. And you have to be ready to adapt to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm going to tell you, like, bugs are big for me. Yeah. And, like, I'm getting better with it. Storms. I survived. Like, we had our grandkids. Donald took the grandkids away, and I was in a really bad thunderstorm, wind blowing, all that. And I'm proud of me for how I handled it. Now, it might not be big to you guys, but it was big to me. Yes. Because I rolled in the awning, I put stuff away, and I sat down, and I read a book. It was calming for me at that moment. I didn't want to lay down and go to sleep because I was like, I got to learn to do, if this is what I want to do, I got to you know, got to jump over those hurdles. So I was so proud of me, because when the storm got really bad, I got a little nervous, but I texted Donald. I was like, wherever you guys are, stay there, because I'm fine. He was,
you know, usually I start running back when a storm comes, stuff like that.
But I wrote him. I told him, I say, wherever you guys are, stay, because it's probably a little safer to be driving and all that. I'm like, just stay where you are. I'm fine. And I really did. I felt proud of myself for riding out that storm, because if you guys know, when we first started this thing out, that first storm, I was ready to quit. We was right down the street from the house.
The first night, or was the second night?
The second night. It was the second night. But I was ready to go. I'm just like, nope, I'm not doing this, because the rain hits this car different than it hits a house.
Yeah.
Well, not a car, but this trailer.
Yeah.
And so you hear more, you know. But anyway, I think I'm okay with storms right now. And we, you know, get your weather apps. You got to pay attention to the weather. We escaped so many storms with those weather apps. Like, we left out the day before. You know, we're checking the weather. Like, things that we didn't know to do, we know to do now.
Yeah.
You have to, but weather, especially if you're in the areas like Florida, where they get those hurricanes and stuff like that, you have to be on top of it. Hurricane season is from June to November, and so I think, to me, they're more active in July,
Yeah.
more so than like October and stuff like that. But anyway, so we're learning to keep up with the weather. When we go to campsites now, I make sure I look for the washrooms and the building, you know, like the shower rooms and stuff like that. And we, thank God, we're able to get places that are close to those places, you know, like to the buildings. So if something happens and we need to run, we can run, you know, like, so we're taking all of that into consideration when we're staying in these places, because that's the first thing I look for, safety.
Yeah.
You know, we check the weather, we get there, we check for safety. Donald is learning more and more about the setup. He's getting the place more stable these days, because I fuss at him about the stabling all the time, because I'm like, if I'm laying in the bed, I shouldn't feel you walking. Yeah. So that was big. But now, you know, we bought a stabilizing unit. Yeah,
the Level Mate Pro.
The Level Mate Pro.
You get more stable when your RV is level. So we got this Level Mate Pro to help us level it out and stuff like that.
And then we were able to, because people kept asking us about our doors. Oh, those doors are not good. People could use a little wrench and open your doors. So we got the little lock. Yeah. The lock works perfectly. We key in our code.
I installed that.
Yes, he did. I'm proud of him. He did that. So we're just learning. But now, like I said, I like to clamp, but I'm learning that I like to be outside even more.
See, that's what I was going to say, because Peggy, one of my favorite things about this journey so far is watching Peggy's growth. Peggy, not without trying to be insulting, Peggy has a lot of fear. She's a very cautious person.
Very.
And we talk about storms, bridges, dogs, boats, helicopters, cliffs, whatever, that kind of stuff. But we're crossing bridges, and she's just no big deal. We've been experiencing a lot more. She sees the dogs. That's not gonna be a problem. And she sits outside with me. Because I've been sitting outside since we got the RV. I love sitting out under the awning and having the fan on me and stuff. And now she comes out there and she sits out there with me and just enjoys the quiet. Yeah. And that's just like for me, that's one of the best parts. So I'm very happy that she's able to come along and
because, you know, I noticed that most people, when they go out, they don't go out to stay in their camper. No. They go out to fish. They go out to hike. They go out to bike ride. They go out to paddle boat, like whatever. And so when you have parks like the one we're at right now, like, you want to get out and you want to, like, we've been bike riding twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to get over to the paddle boating. And so you just have to get out and enjoy I'm not an outdoorsy person, but I'm learning to love it. Like, we're going to look at this again in January, just to see where we are. Because if we decide that we want to do this full term, then I do want to get a fifth wheel, because it's less work on Donald. The breakdown and pickup is really hard.
She want to get a fifth wheel for the bigger bedroom, y'all.
No, I mean, that too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lot.
She wants a bigger bedroom and possibly a washer and dryer inside the RV.
I do. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you can't get the conveniences of home, but this is what I want. You know what I'm saying? Awesome. Like, I need to, please remember, like, a lot of people were, like, not nice to me in the comments because they were saying I was doing too much, but you can't leave an almost 3,000 square foot home and come to
600 square feet.
600 square
500 square feet, actually.
It's hard. Like, it's hard. But this is like minimal living. Yeah. It really is. It's like minimal living. But I'm getting used to it.
She is.
But I just need a little more storage space because I am a crafter. See, we can't only make Donald happy. We got to make Peggy a little happy too. And I'm trying to find that happy medium. And that's what you have to do. You have to do what's good for you. I mean, I know a lot of people have a lot of comments about what we should do and what we shouldn't do and stuff like that. And we appreciate the comments. We really do. But at the end of the day, we have to do what's best for us. I have never been camping in my life until I met my husband.
You see, I had the advantage. I've been in the military for over 26 years. I've been on deployments and been to the field so many times to where I had a little bit of advantage. So there's a learning curve for Peggy that was a little bit steeper, and she is really tackling it. So I'm proud of every step she has made.
I promise y'all, I'm really trying. I mean, like, bugs are big for me, but right now it's just like I don't even care. If you don't land on me, do what you're doing.
A bug landed on her yesterday. She screamed and she laughed. That is big. I'm telling you, see, something like that, because she laughed after I swatted off her shoulder and stuff. Usually, when we first started, she would have ran inside the RV, closed the door, and that would have been the end of the day.
Our neighbor watched me. And he was like, he says, "Is that a new dance?" I said, "Yeah, it's the bug off." The bug off. But I'm telling, and the people. We have met the most amazing. I
wish I could remember everybody's name. There was a guy who showed me how to put the fishing line in. Then there's Randy. Then there's Raymond and Mimi. Then there's all the people who recognized us from the YouTube channel.
But even still, like, because people are amazing. Like, you talk to people, you get knowledge from people, like, and then just to hear all the amazing places they've been and things they do. Like, we've met one lady who's been doing it for 18 years, and I'm just like, wow. Like, if we could get up to some of those amazing spots, you know, we love Uchi Creek, but I feel like we were there too long. Like, we were at Uchi Creek when we first started out for 3 weeks, but we did that because we were trying to work out the kinks before we got too far away from help. And so now, like, we're still not where we need to be, but I feel like we're in a place where we could just move forward and go to better, nicer places. But I just like this life. I'm starting to love. It's scaring me because it's like, right now, I cannot see not doing it.
Exactly.
I have gotten the absolute best sleep in my life being out here on this RV. I promise you, this is the best sleep you ever get. Like, I'm a person who has to sleep with the TV on. Out here, I don't need to do it. Now, sometimes I do because you know, we get some little friends inside the trailer, but you can't help it because we are living outside. We open the door. Like, it was a spider crawling. It was a pretty big size spider, but I didn't scream like I normally do. I just grabbed on the arm. I'm like, we got a friend. We got a friend, and he got it. Point. It is right there. It is. But, woo, boy. Like, you know, I'm just telling you, like, for me, this was big, and I'm telling you, I'm starting to love it.
Like, there's been so many times in the first 9 days that we thought, man, we have made a huge mistake. We got into this.
I'm sure my doubt, because I'm very vocal. And I quit. Like I say, I quit every week. I'm like, no, this is why I hate doing it. I'm not doing this no more. Things are going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. You learn to work. This RVing will teach you patience. Because they want to be helpful. I love that about campers. Like, I feel like they're the most helpful people ever. And you get so much information from everybody. And then they always tell you, now, we stayed here, we stayed there. Make sure you go here, make sure you go there. We write it down. We've gotten contact information from a lot of people. just great people. Like, we're supposed to meet up with some people in Arizona because they told us that Arizona in the winter is the best place to be. So we're gonna go check out Arizona because we do have to find a place that we're gonna stay. You have to get there in October. So we've stuck a pin in, what part of Florida was that?
Tampa and Mayport. We don't have much chance of getting Mayport for no long period of time because it's just too popular.
I would rather Tampa for the winter. I would rather.
Yeah, Tampa's nice weather and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we're sticking a pin in Tampa for right now. We're going to go look at Arizona to see what that looks like. We're going to look at a couple more places. And so then after we do this traveling in October, we could head out to where we're going to live for those 4 to 6 months until winter is over. But anyway, now that we've talked your head off.
Hey, like I said, every once in a while we felt we made a mistake, but I'm smiling more. Peggy is sleeping better. We seem more relaxed. We're enjoying each other. We're spending more time together. We were in that house in 2 separate rooms, often just me playing chess and her watching TV, and now we're spending more time together. So
way more
I am loving this. I would still recommend. It's good for us. I don't want to try to tell anybody what's good for them, but it's been great for us, and we looking forward to a lot more experiences and meeting some of you guys while we're on the road.
Yes.
That's about it for this video. We really appreciate you sticking with us. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll try to do my best to answer them as best as I could. We just want to say thank you for watching, and remember to goddamn do something good for yourself.
And for others as well.
And for others as well, fam. Y'all take it easy.
See you in the next video.
Bye, fam.
Bye.